And we are back on the Cleve Loveland and the Lone Ranger Show, bringing you all of your real estate news, how to sell a house, how to buy a house, how to build a new home on your lot with a construction perm loan. All your information. You can call us, ask us a question, and we will get you the real answer. Bruce and I we've done more, together we've done more transactions than I think it would take 100 realtors to do in our time in the market.
I would think so, but we've both been in business a long time. You get a lot of experience here. I've been in the mortgage business for over 32 years. Cleve's been in the real estate business and comes from a long lineage of family members in the real estate business. And you've been selling real estate for how long?
30 years. So.
30 years, okay?
Bruce, I want to ask
you about... And he still only looks like he's 27, okay?
I wish, yeah. Don't focus that camera on that. On our
oh,
YouTube
by the way,
show.
So speaking of that, check out our YouTube channel. Check out Cleve Loveland and the Lone Ranger new banner behind us.
Yeah, we got a new logo there. I like that.
I mean, it's really looks great.
Like that.
I'm liking it. And, you can always check us out on Spotify, on iHeartRadio, YouTube channel, and, of course, you've got our show here on Saturdays, and you can always check out the Lone Ranger radio show on Sundays at 11 o'clock.
That's right. WDBO. We are coming at you from all directions, all types of media. Bruce, I want to ask you real quick, because we haven't talked about it yet. Interest rate still holding around 3%? We're still great on those?
Absolutely. You're finding that interest rates on 30-year fixed are starting to creep up a little bit. If you're really good credit scores and you are looking at a conventional loan, you are looking at the very low threes. Matter of fact, I locked one in yesterday on a jumbo at 3%.
Nice.
And close to no points. And then I locked in a conventional this morning at 3.125 and no points. So the low threes are still available. But when it comes to interest rates, unless you're living under a rock, you've heard Powell they're
going to raise them.
Yeah. Well, Powell's already said for the Fed, he's announced that interest rates are going to be raised. Now, they weren't planning on raising the Fed rate till 2023. They just changed their mind on that, and they said they're going to raise the interest rates. But here's what happens, and this is the irony of this. You would think that you have from now until the time he raises the rates that you're okay with interest rates. Oh, no.
No, the market wants to spread on that.
No. As soon as he said interest rates and inflation, the market went nuts. Meaning, when I say nuts, the bond market literally dumped on one day 75 basis points. One day.
Yeah.
75 basis points. What does that mean to you? For every $100,000 you borrow, it costs you $750 more.
Yeah.
That's what that means.
Yeah.
So you borrowing $300,000, then you could expect about what,
$235 more.
Well, $750 in extra fees. So you're talking, that's like $2,300, $2,400 extra in cost for a $300,000 house in a half a day. That's how fast.
But they're still great. I mean, people forget that during the bubble, rates were 6%.
They are.
They're really good. Now, the one thing, and before we talked about how FHA's relaxed some guidelines, and because we're not this, so you guys aren't seeing a big bunch of, I've talked to somebody who said, I talked to an attorney. He's got a stack of foreclosures on his desk because of COVID.
I ain't seen it.
Because you guys service your loans.
We service most of them.
Most of your loans. Yep. And you don't have a bunch of, if you do a mortgage and it goes bad.
I have actually no defaults from any
knock on wood. Yeah.
Right now. Yeah. Knock on wood, right? No defaults. Even for COVID, there's a couple people that lost their job and they had some issues that we're trying to help them through. But for the most part, people managed. I have responsible clients. That's why my listeners out there are responsible people that make their mortgage payments at any cost. And that's what responsible people do.
Well, it's smart to have a couple months reserves, because who would have seen COVID? If you would have told me 10 years ago we'd have the country shut down. A pandemic that would shut the country down for months and months and months. I just been, what are you talking about? What sci-fi channel was that on? So, but we lived it and we made it through it. But the thing was, it kept going and lending. You guys don't want to make loans that'll go bad. You're not going to make a risky loan.
No.
If I tell you I'm a bodyguard for the Queen of England, you're going to double check that.
Well, if you tell me that you work at a department store and you are stocking shelves and you make $125,000 a year, I might have to do a little bit more investigation on that, right?
Now, Speaking of that type of loan, do you still have your bank statement
So
loan?
here's the thing. I do still have a bank statement loan, but that's not a liar loan like the old stated income
Oh,
stated
yeah, that was a
assets
liar loan. Yeah, those
those
were
were
all- yeah.
liar loans.
Yep.
That's what got us all into trouble. Mortgage companies thought that they were, they had the best thing that ever happened, and all of my not coworkers, all of my competitors used to tell me what a fool I was, because I didn't understand what a great deal the 100% stated income, stated asset loans were. And I said, well, it seems fraudulent. It's misleading. And they're like, oh man, everybody's doing them. They're easy to do. And we're making so much money doing them. And I'm like, I don't know about this. You know that there was stated income loans that I did. I will tell you I did some. But we did ours for 20% down.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any trouble with that.
Yep.
But other lenders and companies that went out of business, like Countrywide, not to be confused with Cross Country Mortgage, Countrywide, some of those big companies, they actually went out of business because they were doing these
Too
loans.
many of those, yeah.
Too many of those loans. Those loans don't exist. So that's why we have prudent underwriting. You actually have to qualify to get a mortgage. And I think that keeps the business and everybody safe.
But you talk about that guy. He runs his own landscaping company, runs his own pool building company, his own construction company, and he's driving the big King Lariat F-150.
Yep.
And he's self-employed. Do you still have that bank
I
statement
do have
loan?
a bank statement
Is that
program.
still worth it?
Absolutely, it is. Look at bank statement programs are an alternative to an FHA or conventional loan, but they're designed for you out there that's self-employed. You make a ton of money. You got a bunch of money in the bank. You got pretty darn good credit, but you just don't want to pay Uncle Sam any money. So the first thing that comes out of your mouth is, hey, Bruce, I just want to tell you up front, I got a really creative CPA. I already know what you're going to tell me.
Well, the
Okay?
trade-off is just a little bit of the rate, right?
So
It's still
you're
a
going to
good
pay.
rate.
You're going to pay a little higher rate.
Yeah.
You got to have a little bit more money into the deal. But I don't
It
look
can
at your
be
tax.
done, yeah.
Leave your tax returns at home.
Yep.
I need 12 to 24 months worth of business tax or business bank statements, and I'm going to verify the income that's coming in there through deposits and withdrawals. I'll use about 50, and in some cases I can use 100% of the deposits going into the account. So that's how it's done. Note, I subtract transfers and things out of it, but it's easy for people that don't want to pay the IRS but make good money and want to buy a house. It's an available program. For
And that's what I love about, since you've been with this company, Cross Country, you guys have more products, and you've told me about things that like nobody else has.
I've never seen a mortgage
Your construction
company.
perm. I remember years and years ago, you used to say, we don't really have a construction perm. You came up with one.
Yep, we've as a matter of fact, I've got the best construction perm program that I've ever seen. But here's the thing that I love about Cross Country Mortgage: not only prudent underwriting, but we are a company that positions ourselves to be that if a loan can be done, we're going to do the loan. Like, we don't want to miss out on an opportunity, and I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. Now, there may be some of you listening out there that probably will be born and live your life as renters. I feel bad about that, but it's because of the position you put yourself in. You take responsibility for that. If you're willing to make changes, I'll pour into you. My team will pour into you. I set you up with credit repair. We'll do all those things for you. But you have to be disciplined enough to want it. I can't want it more than you. But you and I see those people from time to time.
And there's fear. I mean, people always worry about making that first payment or making that leap. But if you qualify for a mortgage, most likely
I'm going to give you a mortgage. So listen, if you want to call Bruce Woodburn, anybody on my team, I'm going to give you my direct number. Pull the car over. Write this phone number down. Program me into your cell phone, because I want you to consider me to be your lender. All right, I'll be your guy. I actually return phone calls, and I have a receptionist, and you don't have to push a bunch of buttons to get to me. Like, you just ask for me and you get me.
You don't have to press 1 for English?
You don't have to push any numbers for anything. You just call the number. Call and leave me a voicemail if I don't answer. 407-250-9144. Write that down. 407-250-9144. Or apply online at WeBringYouHome.com. That's WeBringYouHome.com. Cleve, what's your number?
407-352-8118. Remember, one of those rooftops on your street, I have probably helped sell it, helped buy it, or I manage an investment property. How much time we got?
We got about 4 minutes.
All right. I do want to mention one thing about investment properties right now. I'm having some people come to me. The market's high, and the one thing we know about rental properties, capital gains taxes. You bought a house 15 years ago for $180,000. It's now worth $400,000.
That's true.
And just about. And you got some gain on it. You've rented it its entire life. If you are, this is a question. That's why I always bring in your financial planner. If you don't have one, call me. We'll get you a good one. But capital gains most likely is going up next year. So I got a lot of landlords cashing in this year and giving that money to their financial planner, because rates right now, if you've owned it for a long time, they're about 20-something%. Depends on how aggressive you are writing stuff off on your rental. But next year, they're probably going to almost double, thanks to Uncle Joe. So it's something that people are preparing for. Now, there's ways. Some people, I'm telling them to write it out, because rents are rising too. I've had, prices, let's say prices are up 20% from 3 years ago on most houses. Rents are up 20% from 3 years ago. So you're still making an equal return on your rental property. Just let me manage that property for you. I have so many people say, I don't know if I want to pay a manager. But then I look at their house and I go inside and it needs a bunch of work. They've not kept up with it. It's not being maintained. They couldn't sell it right now if they wanted to because it's not maintained. The tenant's paying $1,000 a month when he should be paying $1,800 a month. I'm like, Then why are you worried about paying a management company when you're 40% below the rental market?
I see a lot of landlords. They really are a little weak, and they say that they're compassionate. But if you're going to be a landlord, be a landlord. Otherwise, just don't be a landlord.
It's just about enforcing the lease. Most people are good-hearted in nature, and you want to be, I don't want to charge the whole late fee. No, you charge the late fee, because if you don't, they won't pay you on time, and it's not an investment anymore.
Listen, it's an investment. We have to treat it as an investment. Right? If I said, and it's funny, if I said, hey, do you want the 3% interest rate or the 5% interest rate? Well, who's going to choose the 5, right? But you're willing to let a tenant rent for 25% under market value at the same time? Get your priority.
Here's what I'm looking for. An investment property should pay you about 5 or 6% return on your money. I can help you figure that out. And you're not getting the appreciation because you're not selling it. But if you're not getting that, why is that? Is that because the tenant's damaging it? Is that because you're not getting enough rent? Is that because you're not collecting late fees when you should? And I also run, when I manage properties, I run like 1 or 2 weeks. Most property managers are like 1 month empty, vacant. You have turnover between tenants. You're like, oh my gosh, nobody's paying the rent that month. They tell you to prepare for that. I've got my properties released before the tenant's even out, usually with less than a week or two vacant. And it's just a part of being proactive and being on the spot and doing things the way you should. 407-352-8118 for the realtors that sells more homes in 1 month than most realtors sell in a year.
Really? That's amazing. Yep. I think that if you choose Cleve Loveland and his team, you probably have the best real estate team that I've ever seen. I love his buyer's agent. I love what he does. He's honest about what you need to do to sell your house. And he's a pretty funny guy, right? I mean, I have to tell you, he is a pretty funny guy. He's really like that in person. So if you want a great real estate agent, give Cleve a call at 407-352-8118. If you would like help with a lender that cares about his client, you'll never be a loan number. You get a return phone call. My team answers the call. You not only get me, but you get all of my expertise on my team. If that's what you're looking for in a loan, you want a great rate, national lender, and that's been in the same location for over 20 years, been in this market for 32 years, call me at 407-250-9144, 407-250-9144, or apply online at webringyouhome.com. If you are a healthcare worker, if you are law enforcement, a first responder, or a teacher, I've got the best programs ever for you. Why would you go anywhere else? Don't go to your credit union. Don't go to your bank. They don't care about you the way we do. We're going to make sure that you save. And on my home program, Home Ownership Made Easy, you can save up to $2,198 in closing costs. And if you're a buyer, I'll hook you up with Cleve, and he can even get you additional discounts on that. We've seen clients save thousands of dollars when using our home program. And we want to help you move to the next property. We want to help you get a great deal. That's what we're all about.
How much time we got?
We're on our way out. We'll be back in 5 minutes with more of Cleve Loveland and the Lone Ranger Radio Show.